All right. Well, for those of you that were not on before I started the recording, we just had a whole welcoming introduction to Kaylee. She had her little baby, Weston, right? Correct me, Weston. Like 20, like 36 hours ago. And so just wanted to say congratulations to Kaylee again. Lots of prayers and love sent to you as you guys are adjusting. Look at that. You have a full home and an even fuller heart. How adorable. So congratulations, you guys. I love also seeing so many people on. Tabitha was supposed to host tonight with me, and then Summer had a game, which is why we do all of this, right? It is darker here than normal. I'm not at my house, and I didn't want the ring light on, even though there's one right here because my eyes are poofy. And I'm like, I don't need to be in the spotlight today. But I'm just so glad all of you are on and here with us tonight. I want to say that there's a couple times a year that it seems the hardest to choose things that are inconvenient and it seems the hardest to show up for yourself. And that's August, if you have kids. It's back to school and like the start of summer. Those are the two times that I feel like it can really throw us for a loop. And when we see dips in our what do I want to say, numbers on our calls. And so when we have a call where we get a good amount of people on live, because I know a lot of people watch the recordings, just to see you guys on live, I just want to tell you, like, I love doing the calls and it energizes me no matter what, because I love talking about what I believe in. I love breathing belief into all of you. In doing that, it breathes belief into me. But when I can get on and you guys show up, like a lot of times, you're like, I'm showing up on this call because I'm going to hear about this, or I'm jumping in to be on the team. And like, from my point of view and my perspective, when I jump on and you guys are all like, hey, we're in this with you, we're here to listen live, like you are equally filling my cup. And so I just really appreciate you guys showing up tonight. Really excited to talk about the month end magic. So this title kind of came from, we've said this ever since we were started in this business. So there's something here, you guys, called Placement Suite that helps us to create month end magic. Basically, if you guys are not familiar with what Placement Suite is it's an ability for us at the end of the month or once someone enrolls within that 45 days, for people who are right at the brink of like hitting a goal with volume or hitting a goal with rank, we're able to kind of have that month end magic to share the volume and disperse it among people who are right there to help them kind of hit their goals, not alone. So this is huge for me because I came from a company where one, you didn't get paid on all your volume, you had to balance it. Two, if you whatever you did get paid on your volume, it was only what you could create. And even if you were 20 volume points away from a rank and $1,000 bonus or whatever, it didn't matter. No one could help you. It was like you were in there for yourself. And what that kind of felt like was, even in a team like this, you felt really alone. So what I really love, hi Courtney, what I really love about it here and with the month end magic and with Placement Suite here is that I always have felt empowered, and I've always felt like in the time of need, I'm able to empower those that are right there to hit a goal, right there to hit a rank, right there to hit a certain um milestone for, whether it's income or volume or whatever it is. And it's really nice to create that. So hi Shelby, I saw you jump on. Oh hey. So we love the month end magic here because it reminds us that we're actually not alone at all, and that in a space that on the other end of the screens behind our phones doing the things that we do all the time on our own every day, you guys, it can feel often when people are right next to you like you are alone. It can feel in these types of businesses like you are alone. And it can feel like sometimes like you have to wake up every morning and restart a fire and keep the fire going all day. And one thing I love about the fact that we have Placement Suite and we call this the month end magic is that that fire is always going because together we're keeping it lit. It's not a one man job, and it's not like You don't have to feel alone in that. So I wanted to kind of touch base on that, but that's not why we called. We're not having a call on Placement Suite tonight, but it is the end of the month. So just a reminder that if you guys are close to hitting a goal, if you're only a few hundred volume points away from hitting a rank or hitting some sort of bonus, make sure you're talking to your upline about that, because if we have volume we can move around, we want to help. And we do look in our downline, but our downlines they go down and it's hard sometimes to always see what everybody needs and how we can support others. So just an example of how Placement Suite and how month end magic can really affect people's businesses. When I started and Abby enrolled under me, there was one day that she was about to hit director. It was going to give her a $1,500 bonus, and it was going to get her into the top 1% of the company, and she was 400 volume points short. That month, I had happened to enroll 9 people, and I was able to move a couple people to support Abby, which I want to touch on this as well, because that doesn't mean I'm no longer their upline and Abby is. It just means they now have double the people that get to help them. And I'll explain that in a minute. But I got to do that. And what happened is as emotional and as excited as Abby was to then be in the top 1% of the company and to earn $1,500 for her family, it felt like a whole different ball game for me when, as somebody who really wants to help people generate an income for their family and grow and produce, like just moving a couple people just to support her, to watch her be emotional and so excited about it, it just bled into not only me, but the entire team. It actually reminded me of the first year that we completed homeschooling, when Owen went to preschool for 2 years, and then he did a half a year of kindergarten, and we pulled him half of the year out. We did homeschool, and then in first grade he wanted to homeschool again. And I remember at the end he had quite a bit of anxiety at the end of kindergarten, so I couldn't really tell the effect it had on him then. But at the end of first grade, when it was the final day and I said, Owen, congratulations, we just finished our first year of homeschool together in full, he threw his arms up in the air, this little first grader, and he jumped up and down and he cried tears of joy because of how happy and proud of us he was. And that same feeling that I felt that day, like, oh my gosh, we're onto something here, was the same feeling that I had when all I did was move a couple hundred over to Abby. And then that happened with her. And I felt like I was looking at her, like her arms are up in the air, she's jumping up and down, we're excited. And it's like, look at what we're doing. We are spreading the love of a plant, of a belief, of health, of true healing. We are spreading the ability for people in 2025, when it's time that we all need an extra stream of income, and we're all going to be trying different things. Like, it might as well be a space that feels expansive, that feels not alone, that feels like we're holding each other's hands, and that feels like when someone wins on this call, our hands go up, we jump up and down, and we're having tears of joy because we're so excited for each other. Because when one of us wins, we're really, it feels like we're all winning. And that is huge to me, because once upon a time when I was a part of my other company, I felt like my rank was dependent on keeping my upline alive. So I felt a pressure, and I felt a hustle culture, and I felt a almost a resentment, and like I couldn't get to the end of the night and be proud of what I did, because all I could see was all that I didn't do. We're here with the Placement Suite, with the way that we have to share and the way that we have to do things here. It's like we get to celebrate together all the things that we're doing together to rise, because at the end of the day, it is about helping people change. It is about helping people feel that let me turn this phone on do not disturb, or we are not going to enjoy the dinging, because it will 100% pull me out of my focus today. But here it's different. It's not, a lot of times, I don't even know whose upline is who. That's not what this is about. It's a mission to help each other all get whatever goal is our goal. It's not, I need Kim to be this because then that makes me rank advance, which is very much what I've felt like in previous spaces. It's whatever Kim's doing, whatever her goal is, how can I help her? And let's just continue to celebrate, as the only way we have to go is up together. So really excited for the month end magic, you guys. If you are right at those areas, make sure you're sharing with the people above you. So what I was saying with it doesn't mean that your upline changes is that I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so Starlene enrolled under me and I'm mentoring her. And then Annie had a time where she needed a little bit of some extra volume, and I shifted Star under Annie, not shifting her out of it doesn't mean I'm not her mentor or I'm not her upline anymore. But what it meant was it gifted Annie some volume. And what it also did was gifted Star a second person that gets to support her, because not only can I place when Star needs and some volume and when she's ready to rank advance or whatever, not only am I capable now of being like, oh, here's some volume, but because I put her there, she also has Annie who can, and she has two people who are mentoring her in that way. So that's the other beautiful part here is it's not like in my previous company, it was also always like my girl. I don't know why, like my girl, don't mentor my girl. Don't, it was so weird. Like, don't shout these out. And it's like, there's no ownership here. It's really just all of us rising and helping together. So, really make sure that I'll read the comments here in a minute. But really make sure that you guys are just communicating to us, to your uplines, how we can support you best. Because sometimes life is crazy, life is busy. We all have 9 million things going. And sometimes it just takes you saying, hey, just so you know, I'm a couple hundred away from this. If you know any ways that I can boost up, let me know. And obviously, we might be like, actually, I have a way to help right now. So, with that being said, we'll kind of dive into what I wanted to talk about today. So, the last couple days of the month, we have the end of month magic on our team. We feel it. We're excited about it. I feel like in the last couple months, because of summer, there hasn't been a lot of month end magic energy, but typically there is. And you guys will feel it this month because I know there will be this month as well. And sometimes Green Compass will even do some sort of like call on the last day of the month to help people, and they give away prizes and they help with conversations and things like that. But one thing that we can always do is I feel like in the space that we're in, if we always share the same ways and we always educate the same ways, and if we always add value the same ways, even if it is amazing and even if it's consistent and even if it's spot on, it can become white noise because people like the feeling of magic. They like the feeling of urgency. They like the feeling of knowing that something is profound. People don't want something all the time that's just ordinary. So for me, it's like adding value and then using the last week of the month always to help people feel the urgency. And I use that word lightly because it's not like an urgency to join us or whatever, but to really amp up my delivery in creating it to feel like magic. So, what does magic feel like to others? Okay. So, it's going to be different for all of us. And how you create that and how you share that is going to be 100% dependent on what you believe. So, the way that I share things and the way that I share month end magic and the way that I share with people is through emotion. You might not be somebody that shares it through emotion. It might be through like Emily Ritzer. She shares it through massive knowledge that blows your mind. Like if you want to learn something every day, go to her page. That is the magic she creates. She creates people coming there because they're like, I didn't even know about that. That is crazy. Oh my gosh, I learned something new today. For me, when I'm creating month end magic, it's me sharing the jellies simply or this opportunity or whatever and delivering with impact and with magic a huge story that touches the hearts of others so that they can feel the magic that it's brought into my life. So for me, my story and my magic here at Green Compass, and this is mine, right? So it has to be individually ours, is that it came in and it flipped my world upside down. And it took a girl who was feeling terrified and scared. And it gave her hope in a place not only of the fact that she wouldn't be spending countless nights crying on her kitchen floor anymore with overwhelm and stress and fear, but that also it would provide an income quickly for her family that would make her not have to leave her home and uproot her kids during a time that they were also already feeling massive change in their life. That isn't maybe magic for everyone, but that's magic to me. And when I share that story more profoundly at the end of the month, if I share that all the time, it's white noise. So I'm sharing more education, more funny, more humor, more value, some info throughout the month because that's important. But then at the end of the month, I'm sharing what the magic really is for me. And I'm sharing it more in depth. And I'm sharing it in a way that for anyone that needs to feel the same type of magic I needed to feel, they feel it through what I'm saying. So with Kim Ann, I don't even know how to say your last name, Leva, how you say it? Ooh, I did it. So with Kim, her magic is completely different than mine, and I'm in awe by her magic. Her magic is the amount that her body has been fighting against her for so many years that she was taking so many things. Sorry to share your story, Kim, and losing hope and losing quality of life to where she finally was like, I'm going to try this. And she found a regimen that has literally given her life where she can be, I'm going to cry, this is how much I borrow her magic, where she can be outside gardening the day after she's busted her butt dancing with her son at an event, at a vendor event, helping people to understand what we have here, to be able to go and babysit and be there for her new grandbaby and to take care of her dogs in ways that she couldn't do if she couldn't function in the way that only her body is functioning now because of what she's found here. And if that isn't magic, then I don't know what is. And all of us have that type of story. All of us have a way that this has given us magic. And maybe you're like, it's only been like my story's nothing because it's this. Guess what? That is magic to someone. And if you're not sharing it, then who is? And if you're not sharing it, then someone else may be missing it. And so for me, I'm always like, you know what? I would be doing myself and so many a disservice if I just kept this inside. And I'm not great at consistency, you guys. I'll be honest with you. Right now, I do my best, but most days I'm trying just like you to get to the next thing. I'm trying to get a post up. I'm trying to get a reel up. I'm trying to not, I am navigating life to the best of my ability and it's not perfect, but it's better than it was before this came into my life and provided me with the sense of magic internally and externally than it has. And so for me, I know that if I feel that way about it, then it is my mission, and that's just me, but it doesn't need to be anyone else. But I know it's my mission to make sure that others feel that too. So, month end magic to me is that last week of the month, I am going to let people see my heart. I am going to let people hear my story and I'm going to be louder about it than I have been all month because typically at the end of the month is when people have been watching and they're ready. It usually takes about 6 to 7 times for people to read or see something before they're going to push, like, ask a question. I've got a question. Let me hear more. A great example is on the way to Michigan. Never even knew there was a chocolate shop. You guys might have heard this before, but there's a chocolate shop on the way to Michigan to my family's house. I never knew, but one day I saw a sign and it's like 50 miles ahead, there's a chocolate shop. I'm like, interesting, didn't know that. Left my mind within 2 seconds. That might be what happens when you make a post sometimes. People read it, go, interesting. I didn't know that. They don't comment, they don't like. Doesn't mean it's not doing something here, but they keep going, right? Pretty soon, 20 miles down the road, best chocolate ever. I'm like, why? Why is it the best chocolate ever? I don't know. keep going, right? 10 miles down the road, and it shows like pictures of different types of truffles. And I'm like, okay, those do look delicious. Like, and then 5 miles, 1 mile, and then it's like exit right here. Now, I'm going to tell you to this day, I haven't made the exit only because I have my dog and my kids with me. And you guys understand when you're on a 5-hour drive, if you make an exit, you're committed to 40 minutes, right? And I'm not committing to that. But if I was on my way by myself, I'd be taking that exit by now because they've painted a picture. It's been a tap. It's been nothing that has, right? It's like now it's like just if they said baby and dog sitter here, I'd be like, I'm there. But it's that time and it's that consistency. So it's as you're getting closer to the finish line. A lot of times the end of the month is a finish line for people. People set goals for the month. The quarters, people's quarterly ends at the end of a month. Half of the year ends at the end of the month. The year ends at the end of a month. The end of the month are times that people, even if they don't know it, subconsciously, they're ready to make a change a lot of times. So you use you kind of share your magic. And then for me, I'm constantly sharing about our BOGO. Now, yes, we do actually have a new BOGO right now with the Hydrate and the Energize. However, we have the Balance and Restore that is a BOGO that I share about at the end of the month every month. I talk about so the Balance and Restore, for those of you that aren't familiar, it hasn't gone away yet, so I don't think it'll go away, but I'm never going to say never. But for our first time customers, they can get 2 products for the price of 1, essentially. So it's either the full spectrum jelly, tincture, broad spectrum jelly, tincture, or collagen, any flavor. You can pick 2 of those, just not 2 of the one thing. You can't get 2 full spectrum jellies, right? So you could get a buy one, get one. On top of that, they have a second offer, which is basically add a third product for about 40% off. So I always say you can get 3 products for the cost of 1.5. Okay. And then those products are either our Unwind, our CBDA, our immune jellies, or our Mind Bloom. Okay. So this is consistent. It stays. People like it. It's exciting. It gets them a pack that is going to help them in that 30 days create change in their body in some way. So I don't just assign everyone that. Of course, I'm going to have a consultation with them, see what they need. And if it's not for them, redirect them to the product that's right for them, because I am not about selling anything to anyone that I don't truly believe is what they need for what they're sharing. But typically the Balance and Restore is the best foundation for everyone, because hemp, everyone should be on. The CBG collagen is amazing for so many ways. CBG in our bodies is helping with tissues and organs and joints and muscles and what do I want to say? Digestive and so many things, and skin, hair, skin, nails. So a lot of times collagens, hair, skin, nails, this is beyond, right? So it's a great starting point for people. And I like to share my story. And as I'm talking to people, we also have an amazing BOGO right now. Now people are going to ask, when does it end? And I'm honest with them. Sometimes people will say, tell them it ends at the end of the month for sense of urgency. I don't say that. I say to be what I just said to you. And this is the truth. I don't know if it'll end. It's been here since I can remember, but they could change it at any time. As far as I know right now, it's still here. That's still urgent. Who knows? They could change their mind next month and it could be a different thing. They could change the Balance and Restore completely. So I'm always leading with honesty. I'm always leading with what they need. I'm leading with magic, with excitement, and then guiding them to a great foundation. Okay, so the month end magic with that. So small intentional actions. Now, this is the other part, is that typically what you do today in this business, you're going to see 30, 60, 90 days from now. So it's hard to stay consistent every single day, all month long, check all the boxes and feel like at the end of every week, you're like, I did my very best. That's just not realistic because we're balancing so many things. So for me, if I can do as well as I can and that last week of the month really amp it up and know that I rocked that energetically and in my delivery and in my education, chances are I'm closing a couple things the last week of the month because of that, and it's also trickling into the next month. So in those weeks where I'm still kind of wavering and I'm trying, because you can't, I just don't believe that in the previous business I was in, it was like you need to do all of these every single day. And I will never be the person to tell you that. I will never be the person to do all the things every single day. I think that you have to do your best every day, but then be intentional in a certain time, be consistent in a certain time, because when you do that and you're intentional and you're consistent enough here, you really pour in here, it trickles into those weeks. We have to have times that certain things feel more important, because if everything's important every day, then nothing's important, right? So one week, what's important to me but might be my fitness. I might be like, I might get 3 posts up and I might get a like 20 conversations going this week. But if I don't really focus on feeling good inside of my body, then, that's my focus for the week. So sometimes my focus shifts, but I'm always still delivering content in my stories daily, just a quick share or a post at least every other day. But I guess I'm here to tell you that month end magic is also powerful because it's like a firework show. During the month, you're getting little blast of fireworks. You're seeing different things. You're seeing different colors. You're seeing different effects. That last week of the month is what do they call it? Someone tell me. What's the end? Finale. Geez, oh Pete's, it's the finale. So then it's like all the colors and all the brightness and all the magic. And you're like, whoa, that was so cool. And then comes the next month and it's like, here's a few fireworks here. Here's some different colors. Here's this. But guess what? I'm a human living my life. But also the most powerful things that you can do throughout the month to set yourself up is simple things. And the biggest shift that I know that I make that makes a big difference is even when I post in my story, I'm crazy busy that day and it's all I do, but I post a picture of my jellies and I'm like, because of these, I can like whatever it is, like something real, like because of these, my kid's going to New York for 6 days, like I'm handling this a little bit better today because of it, or whatever it is. We had a girl on our team, Katie Leatherman, who used to share her regular day so beautifully. She had to step away due to her mom's health for a little bit. Always hoping that she'll be back soon, but she's where she needs to be. And when she was here, she had 4 kids that she homeschooled that were all little ones. And she would like take a video of her like sitting behind the couch. There's toys everywhere. And she's like, I'm going to tell you, she has a country twang. And she's like, I'm going to tell y'all a story about today. And then she's like talking about how like she walked in and she stepped on this and the kids were whatever. And, she's like, I realized in that moment, like normally this is how I would have reacted. But I'm reacting different these days. And I didn't believe that I was going to react different these days. And in fact, when I first was told about what I'm taking now that's making me react different these days, I started taking it and I saw it and I was like, this is a coincidence. Like, this can't be real. She calls out what people probably are thinking and what we all thought. You guys, a week into me taking the CBD, I had taken CBD before and it didn't really work and it wasn't consistent and some worked and some didn't, right? And we all know why now because it's unregulated. A week into taking Green Compass, I remember telling Tabitha, I'm like, I'm sleeping really good and I'm handling my stress a lot better, but it might be a coincidence. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, what? And then it's funny because I'm pretty sure that a few of you on here have probably said the same thing to me. And I'm like, okay. And it's just because, and that's the thing that people kind of, it's nice when you have that just regular human interaction through a story that's saying an everyday thing and then almost just shining the light on something that could be a quote unquote, I don't want to use this word, but for lack of a better word, objection, right? So finding ways during your fireworks show, during the month, to being able to share real life things and showing up, but not feeling like you need to put all this pressure on yourself, enjoying the show, enjoying what the 3 times you're showing up or the daily. I'm always in my stories, but the posts, they can kind of go here and there depending on what I have to give, which is okay. But allowing yourself at the end of the month to give them the finale that shows them the magic of what it's doing in your life. And whatever that is, there's no magic that's too small. Okay. So with that, there's 3 ways to end the month strong. Number 1 is creating a sense of urgency in your content. Okay. So people move when they feel urgency. So right now, using the word BOGO, like I said, we're not lying and telling them anything, but just even using that, people sometimes when they see that there's a sale or a BOGO, let's just sales end, BOGOs end, right? So just saying that in itself gives a sense of urgency without you having to say anything else there. So it aligns right now too with the back to school season. So right now, a great way to start talking about what we have here in the BOGO is like an opportunity as well to help people. A lot of people are more stressed right now going back into school or homeschooling again. Maybe it's easier because parents are like, whoo, the kids are at school, and the homeschoolers are like, oh, we got to start doing that again. It's funny. I'm always the opposite. People are like, oh my gosh, my kids are home all summer. I got to make it through the summer. And we're like, woo, summer's here because my kids are always there. And I literally get like 2 to 3 hours of my day back in the summer, which is nice. But we don't start till after Labor Day. So what you're doing here is like, I always at the end of the month, I think about my magic, what I have to offer. How can it help or solve something that's going on outside of my world today? Because I also can't just talk about me, right? So that is right now the back to school season, the transition from summer to fall, the whatever it is. We have the holidays coming up, right? There's the winter blues. There's always something that a lot of people are experiencing and that we can kind of start talking to and speaking to and saying, like and I'm always like, for me, I'm not a winter blues person. I've never been somebody that gets depressed in the winter, but it doesn't mean I can't talk about that. Like right now, if you're like, well, I don't have kids that are going back to school right now. Well, it doesn't mean you never did. It doesn't mean you can't talk about it. It doesn't mean you don't see the experiences other people are going through. Be like, hey, I'm not going through this, but I'm seeing some of my friends go through this and they're kind of feeling frazzled and tired and exhausted and they're not sleeping well or whatever. And just see, I have a solution. I see you, whatever that is. So you want to make sure that you are using your month end magic to share your magic, and then also look for ways and opportunities to reach out outside of your world and acknowledge what other people may be going through. Even just showing a picture of your jellies and your stories and being like, I don't have kids that are transitioning into high school or moving into college right now, but I see so many of my friends out there right now starting their empty nester journey or starting, whatever their kids going to preschool. And I just want to say, I wish I had this sort of nervous system support back when I walked through that, right? Even that is powerful, acknowledging that. Um, so number 3 ways. Number 1, that's number 1. Number 2, kind of goes along with that. You're showing the everyday little things. So sometimes, like I said, we think we need these big dramatic testimonies, but the truth is, and I learned this back when I was in my previous space, somebody losing 3 pounds in a week is more relatable and more inspiring than looking at somebody who lost 100 pounds in 2 years. Because to lose 100 pounds in 2 years, you're looking at a huge, am I cutting out? Okay.
Mm-mm.
You're looking at a huge chunk of commitment. You're looking at, you look at that and you're inspired by it, but it's like, okay, that is a journey, right? Where if it's like, oh, I lost 3 pounds in 1 week and this is what I did, it's like, oh, okay, 1 week, I could focus for 1 week. What did you do? Same thing here. I could share my story of getting to, and I'm just going to put that here because we're on a getting from, you know, hitting cancel and going to making $0 from one business to here to my very first month earning just below 4,000, and by 4 months in earning $7,000 a month then, and it's grown since. I can share that with people, but people are going to be like, well, that takes this. But if I say this month I earned, or this week I earned an extra $500 helping a couple of my friends get started. Well, that seems a lot doable. So sometimes it's like the little stories, the not whether you're sharing about the business or whether you're sharing about the products, it's not the I got to come off of antidepressants and now I'm living this whole in whatever life. That appeals to people sometimes, but it's also like, you know what? Last week on this day with the events that happened, I would have been on the floor crying. I would have been hiding under my bed. This week, it's stressful and it's hard, but I can take a deep breath and I can reset. And I know the difference is that I started this regimen. That is so much more powerful sometimes because it's doable. It's a baby step. It's bite size. So I want you to remember to share the big things, yes, but the bite size wins are just as good. So showing the everyday little things is really important. Think about things like falling asleep easier. You guys, this is the biggest one. We live in a world where everyone's brains are literally conditioned to scroll, to see things like it's like how I feel when I won't let my kids watch SpongeBob. Okay. I don't. I don't know. That show just is like, and I'm like, holy cow, we're all gonna pass out. So it's like that's how our brains are conditioned in this world today. It's like who can be the busiest, who can have their kids in more sports, who can do this, who can do this. When you can say, I took this little jelly and I laid down and the thoughts were half of what they were on a normal night. That's a win in itself, right? I slept better. I felt calmer in the pickup line. You guys, the one time, the half a year that I did pickup line, I was not calm. I wish I had that half a year that I did that when Owen was in kindergarten. I had more patience with the kids. I was calmer during a disagreement with my spouse, right? I was able to provide feedback in a time that would have normally made me very stressed out and angry. I was able to deliver a gentle response and reset without exploding, right? I did a workout and I had fewer aches and pains. I actually got up this morning and instead of my ankles cracking and feeling like they're stiff and my feet are inflamed, this literally was me before I started this regimen. I would wake up every morning, my feet would feel inflamed, and my first 20 steps of the day, I felt like, are my ankles even bending? Like, what is going on? I had so much inflammation in my body. People don't know what that means, but they wake up and they feel what my feet felt. So, like, just sharing those little things like that. So, it would be awesome for you to just kind of go through your day throughout this end of the month. And as you experience something and you find that you feel a certain way or you handle it differently, write that down and just share about it. There's a patch on my leg, on my thigh, that I've been to the dermatologist for. I've done all of this stuff and went to the doctor, used what they've asked me to use, and it grows hair in an opposite direction and it grows hair quicker than anywhere else on my leg and it itches. Okay. This is real. And Kim is laughing, so I'm laughing, but it's real. And it's been like this for a few years and it itches and I'm constantly itching my leg. You guys, it dawned on me when I was in the shower a couple months ago that that doesn't happen anymore. And I don't know when the last time it did. And I know where the spot is because I've itched it for years, but it doesn't happen anymore. I don't know why, but the only thing I've changed is this regimen, and I swear it's the collagen, hair, skin, nails, and just all of that, you know? So sharing that, like that's silly, but it also grabs grabs attention and people get it. Some people that are using our CBG collagen have had psoriasis or dry scalp for so long and they can't figure it out. And all of a sudden, they don't have the dry scalp anymore. You guys, I struggled with dry scalp. I have so much hair that air doesn't get to my scalp to breathe. So I've struggled with dry scalp my entire life because unless I'm like walking around just trying to get, you know, air there or brushing it like every day, it's just what it is. But with this regimen, it's different. These are stories I need to, I'm calling myself out right now because I don't even share these. So thank you for coming to the call. Thanks for listening. Fewer aches after sports, things like that. So you want to share these in your stories, of course. So I always am like month end magic. My story is my accountability partner. That is literally what I tell myself. My story is my accountability partner. It's the fun inside of the magazine. My posts are the magazine covers. So number 3 is personal reach outs and follow-ups. Now, I am going to tell you something that you may not believe, but I have been doing this since 2013, and I have never been, and I will never be the person to tell you that you need to go out and start a certain amount of conversations a day and invite all these people and talk to people that I won't tell you that. I will tell you that the more value and the more authentic and the more fun you have through your social media, the more interaction you will naturally get, and the more those conversations will feel authentic for you to start. Because I don't not start the conversations, but it happens in an authentic way because of the way that and the confidence and the fun I'm putting in the front end, which is the social media. The back end can happen naturally. So often we're like, oh, I don't want to talk to invite anybody. I don't want to reach out to anybody. I don't want to connect. I'm going to feel weird. But if you're putting out content that is a good mixture of you having fun, your personality, adding value in other ways, like Courtney has amazing value to add in so many ways. Like she's doing all these hikes and yoga and all this stuff. She has so much value she can add in so many other ways. And I know like with Kaylee adjusting to having 3 babies at home, you know, her 4, 2, and now little baby, Weston, like you're going to have value that you can add in. Okay, I didn't realize this was going to happen adjusting from 2 to 3, but this is what I'm experiencing. Like we have different value to add. It's the value outside of this, the humor outside of this, who you are authentically outside of this, being shared consistently with those little pops of fireworks of what you are inside of this, right? It's that helps those conversations to happen more naturally because then end of month magic comes and I'm like, hey, you know, Samantha, I talked to you earlier this month. I know we talked about homeschool and it wasn't anything about this, but I was kind of just thinking about who could possibly benefit from, I'm going to use the word, the magic that I've felt since implementing a regimen that I've been using. And being a homeschooling mom, the homeschooling part of my day used to be the worst part of my day. And I'm like, why would I love homeschooling so much if that's literally the part of my day that takes me down every time? But now that my nervous system is more regulated and I'm able to really kind of take a breath and handle it differently, it has changed and brought so much joy back into our homeschooling. I talked to you earlier this month about homeschooling. And I don't know if what I just said relates to you, but if it does, you relate to that, I'd love to share what I've done that's changed the whole game for our homeschool. Okay, that was a long example, but that's how it works. It happens from different conversations. Those authentic reach outs seem more comfortable. So number 3, reach outs and following up conversations. You want to think about who's been watching your stories that you've been connecting with, who's been laughing at a lot of maybe the things that you've shared, or maybe you've shared some quotes and people have been like, oh my gosh, this hits me too. Who are those people that you can revisit with, or who are people that have asked about, you know, what you've been using in the past that you could just send a quick message and say like, hey, and you guys, I'm always 1000% transparent. Hey, I'm just wrapping up the month. I was thinking about people that like I've talked to this month that it would feel good for me to share something with them that has impacted my life so much, and you popped in my mind. Are you open to me sharing with you something that has absolutely changed my life? It's okay if your answer is no. It's okay to message people and start a conversation. It's just how we're starting it that makes the difference. It's okay to say, listen, I was wrapping up my month looking at like, some numbers. Sometimes I'm like, I'm close to hitting a goal. So I was looking at some people and just trying to see like some follow ups I need to do. People like to hear that you're responsible with your business. That's not a turnoff. That's actually, they're like, oh, that's cool that you were doing that. And then it's like, not that I think that, this is necessarily for you. It may not be, but you popped in my head. You're on my mind. I remembered your name. Your name stuck out to me. Our conversation stuck out to me. And it was on my heart to just reach out and ask, like, you know, are you, is there anything that I've posted about in the last few weeks that has had you curious? That's another way I like to ask people. Like, I'm just curious, just checking in. Has anything that I've been sharing, like, tapped you on the shoulder that I could give you more information on? People are going to be like, oh no, I just love what you share. I really appreciate it. Or they're going to be like, yes, actually, I saw one day you said that you were sleeping better and that you were using something and it's not, and I sometimes take melatonin and I don't want to feel groggy. Does yours make you feel groggy? People will just come out and ask that, right? No, Star knows the answer. No. Um, so don't be afraid to start the conversations. People like to be thought of. It's just how you're starting them. You want to fine tune and tweak to make it feel soft and out of curiosity and no pressure. And I just thought of you because our conversation the other day, you popped in my mind while I was wrapping up some end of month stuff for business today. Just curious, has anything that I posted about tapped you on the shoulder? Tapped you, made you think, do you have any questions? It was on my heart to ask. There's nothing wrong with that question. So don't overthink it. Make it personal. Personal connections matter the most. Having fun matters the most. And then layering in that epic magic show at the end. So what I'd love to do is leave you guys with a little assignment if you'd like to do it. I think it would be great for you to either tonight, depending on if you're an evening person or a morning person, really take some time to just sit 10 minutes, take some deep breaths, breathe in, hold it for 4, breathe out, hold it for 4. Do that a couple times until you really just feel present in that moment and ask yourself, without any judgment of how big or small it is or what it is, what is my magic this month with being here? Is it in the business? Is it in the products? Is it something that, like, what is that? And do I have something to share? And sometimes we don't, especially if we've started right away. Even though I do want to say that Laura just started, and I screenshot what she said to me earlier today, because what she said was, well, is this it? She replied to a story of mine. Okay, so Laura just enrolled like a week ago, and she said, this week I have been so chill, and I swear my brain is firing on all cylinders again, with a mind blown emoji, a crying emoji, a heart eye emoji, and a prayer emoji. Like, so knowing like that is her magic right now. Sharing that alone is a win, right? So maybe it's sleep, maybe it's a little less stress. You guys, maybe it's just hope. Maybe you haven't even felt it yet, but it's just hope. Maybe it's the community, whatever the magic is for you this month. I'd love for you to reflect on that and then commit to just sharing that, sprinkling it, sharing it with a few people that are on your heart to share it with, and then celebrate that with us. I would love that. Because sometimes the scariest thing that we can do is start a conversation about something that means a lot to us because we fear, is it going to mean a lot to the person on the other side? But I want you to know that whether it does or whether it doesn't, it's worth celebrating that you made the effort to share, because whether it hits them that day or 50 miles down the road when they finally get to the exit of the chocolate stop, whenever it hits them, you're the go-to person. And it's always good as long as you're sharing it from your heart, you're sharing it authentically, you're sharing it magically, and you're having fun doing it. You're going to land when you're meant to land and where you're meant to land with each individual. So with that being said, that's pretty much all I have tonight. I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to talk. Here we are an hour in. Sorry. So does anyone have, I'm going to look at the chat. Does anyone have any comments, questions? I'm looking at this chat real quick. So much congratulations for you, Kaylee. So much love for you. This is the neatest support. You and the company are truly amazing. I love you. Goosebumps. Kim needs money since her postmaster forgot to push the submit button in the payroll program on Friday. Oh no. I have not been consistent. Again, that's okay. I would love for you to do this with your reflection here of what is magic to you here. I want you to also do this. This will be powerful. I want you to ask yourself, what is your definition of consistent here? Because my definition of consistent based on my goals is going to be different than yours. Maybe your definition of consistent is 2 posts a week, and that is a success. For me, maybe it's every day, and that's a success. But if you're thinking consistent for you is what my standard of consistent is for me, but we have different things, So I always am like asking people, what is your definition of success here? And measure it to your definition of success. And if this is your definition of success, then what is your definition? I forgot the word definition after I said it. 10 seconds after I said it. What is your definition of consistency? Find your definition of success. Find your definition of consistency. Do not compare it to anyone else's and celebrate it, because that's what matters. And if you need help with that, just message me one-on-one and we can figure out what that looks like for you. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I hope that I made sense. My brain is a little bit kind of all over the place, but it felt really good to spend that time with you. It felt really good to breathe that belief into you. In doing that, there's so many times that I myself have aha moments. And I think that's a powerful lesson in itself, is like when you open your mouth and you talk and you teach and you share, you also get like so much awareness that you needed, even though it's coming from inside of you. So keep sharing, keep leaning on each other. We have month-end magic going on. I'm excited to see what you guys share, the little stories, the big stories. And then, like I said, reach out to your upline so we know where you're at, because if we can help push you over a goal, then we're all here to do that for you, whether that's in your volume or your rank or whatever that looks like. So, okay, I hope you guys have the best evening ever. Thank you so much for joining.